Good morning. Today is the 26th day of September 2017, and we are continuing our series, Questions and Answers for a World in Crisis. The other day, we covered Affection, Part 1, from the writings of Sri Aurobindo. And today, Affection, Part 2, from the writings of the Mother. Mother writes, "And never doubt my affection, which is always with you, to help you make this indispensable progress." And then someone writes to Mother, "I don't understand why and how X has had difficulties because of affection. I haven't had them. Perhaps it is because I am not aware of them." Mother, it is because affection creates an attachment in him, and all attachment is contrary to yoga. Does affection create attachment in me? Mother, affection always creates attachment, unless one is a yogi. Dear Mother, this morning after 9 o'clock, X came to my room. He advised me to reject hostile suggestions, and so on. He gave me a lecture. He did not say so, but I think you asked him to come to my room. But I must tell you that I don't like people to come and lecture me. Can't you tell me directly what is necessary? Am I not here with you? Am I so far away? Then why should I have to listen to the advice of others? Mother, it is your self-esteem and vanity that are in an exasperated state and prevent you from seeing affection where it is present. Following question is asked to Mother. There is a pure affection for the divine and a pure love for the divine. What is the difference? Mother replies, that depends upon the meaning you give to your words. It depends on what you call affection. I don't know, but generally affection means something personal and external and a little superficial. It depends altogether on the meaning you give to your words. Usually, when someone says, "Oh, I have much affection for him," this means that one has good feelings, a sort of friendliness, but it is nothing very deep. But one may also use the word in a deeper sense. It is very difficult to distinguish between words unless one has already defined one's whole vocabulary quite precisely. It is at the moment of speaking, when one wants to say something, if one puts a kind of intensity of thought, perception, knowledge into the words used, then it can carry that state, that soul state, with the words. But if words are used altogether intellectually, and so to say, arbitrarily, before using them, one should say, when I say this, and give a long explanation, a definition. In another place, Mother speaks of strength, energy, capacity. It's very powerful. You lose a great part of your strength, energy, and capacity due to your so-called human love. It is a great hindrance in your progress. And again, if there is somewhere, in some part of your being, still the need for human affection and love, it is better to go through the experience of life. It is the best preparation for yoga. The thirst for affection and love is a human need, but it can be quenched only if it turns towards the divine. As long as it seeks satisfaction in human beings, it will always be disappointed or wounded. Love is not the heart's hunger for affection. Yes, it is for this reason that in all countries and in all religions, it is recommended that for a period of at least 7 days after someone's death, people should gather and think of him. Because when you think of him with affection, parentheses, without any inner disorder, without weeping, without any of those distraught passions, end parentheses, if you can be calm, your atmosphere becomes a kind of beacon for him. And when he is attacked by hostile forces, parentheses again, I am speaking of the vital being, of course, not the psychic being, which goes to take rest, end parentheses. He may feel altogether lost, not know what to do, and find himself in great distress. Then he sees through affinity the light of those who are thinking of him with affection, and he rushes there. It happens almost constantly that a vital formation, a part of the vital being of the dead person, parentheses, or at times the whole vital, if it is well organized, end parentheses, takes shelter in the aura, the atmosphere of the people or the person who loved him. There are people who always carry with them a part of the vital of the person who is gone. That is the real utility of these so-called ceremonies, which otherwise have no sense. When a child has done something wrong, see that he confesses it to you spontaneously and frankly. And when he has confessed, with kindness and affection, make him understand what was wrong in his movement, so that he will not repeat it. But never scold him. A fault confessed must always be forgiven. You should not allow any fear to come between you and your child. Fear is a pernicious means of education. It invariably gives birth to deceit and lying. Only a discerning affection that is firm yet gentle, and an adequate practical knowledge will create the bonds of trust that are indispensable for you to be able to educate your child effectively. And do not forget that you have to control yourself constantly in order to be equal to your task and truly fulfill the duty which you owe your child by the mere fact of having brought him into the world. For example, the love between human creatures in all its forms, love of the parents for their children, of children for their parents, of brothers and sisters, of friends and lovers, is everywhere tainted with ignorance and selfishness, and all other defects that are the ordinary defects of man. So instead of wholly ceasing to love, which is besides a very difficult thing to do, as Sri Aurobindo says, which only dries up the heart and serves no purpose, one must learn to love in a better way. Love with devotion, self-giving, and self-abnegation. And to fight not against love itself, but against its deformations, against all forms of appropriation, attachment, possession, jealousy, and all the feelings which accompany these principal things. Not wanting to possess, to dominate, not wanting to impose one's will, one's whims and desires, not wanting to take, receive, but to give, not to insist on the response from the other, but to be satisfied with one's own love, not to seek one's own interest and one's personal delight and the fulfillment of one's personal desire, but to be satisfied with giving one's love and affection, not to demand response, to be happy simply by loving, nothing more. Note, Mother has given a significance for the China rose, Rosa sinensis, affection for the divine. And she comments, a sweet and confident tenderness that gives itself unfailingly to the divine.